But you know who else Warner Brothers hasn't bailed on, Brett?
I do
So
know.
there's been a lot of talk ever since Warner Brothers and Discovery have been going through this merger process, which now seems to be official and has gone through. Now they are officially Warner Brothers Discovery. Um, the new CEO coming into town from Discovery, it was expected that he was going to basically clean house. And there are certain names from the previous Warner Brothers or Warner Media administration who have now disappeared. You know, Ann Sarnoff promptly exited last week. Jason Kilar, who had once been like the head or a very prominent voice at HBO Max, is now gone. But the two names that have remained that have shocked some in the DC fandom are Toby Emmerich and Walter Hamada. As of now, they have been retained, and it looks like the CEO of Discovery is going to keep them on board running their respective divisions. Same thing with Casey Bloys, who's the person who's been the head of HBO Max. So when it comes to Emmerich and Hamada and Bloys, they are staying in place. And I kind of want to just break that down a little bit, though, because I think the timeline of when these people got involved is important, because there's a lot of people who want their heads to roll. They look at everything that happened with Batman versus Superman leading into Zack Snyder's Justice League as being on these guys' doorstep, but not so fast, because Toby Emmerich was hired to head Warner Brothers Film Studios, the film division, at the very end of 2016, in December of 2016. So he
Toby
came
Emmerich,
on.
yeah, you thought you could shake me.
Toby Emmerich, yeah. So
Shake me.
he came on at the end of 2016. That is after Batman versus Superman had its big issues back in March of that year. This is after Suicide Squad came out in August of that year. So Toby Emmerich, by and large, I think the industry and the people perhaps doing the research on who to keep and who not to keep, they view Toby Emmerich as someone who came in at a time when Warner Brothers and DC Entertainment in particular were at a real low point, and it was a real mess, and he was there to basically clean up a crazy mess that had been created by the people before him, people like Greg Silverman, who he took over for. So I think that's how he's been able to sort of skirt around all this. He came in at the end of 2016. He doesn't have the stink of BVS and Suicide Squad on him, but he was technically in charge for all of 2017 when the insane reshoots of Justice League and all the stuff with Joss Whedon was happening. So I can understand why there is a certain segment of the fan base who wants to see this guy's head roll. But for better or worse, he came on after that. And from 2017 on, after Justice League, Warner Brothers and DC have been on a moderate winning streak, especially with the $1 billion Aquaman that came out at the end of 2018. So, that goes on Toby's resume, because that movie came out almost 2 years after he got the job. And the other name that everyone was upset at was Walter Hamada, but he got hired even later. He got hired in like January of 2018. So he really has nothing to do with all of the previous craziness. And I just bring all this up so that I know that there is a very vocal, very loud contingency of fans that I see over on the Twitter who just want Hamada and Emmerich gone. But really, they're not responsible for half the stuff that you're upset about. For like the vast majority of the stuff that went crazy these last 6 years with DC, it didn't really happen because of decisions that they made. And Hamada in particular, since he's been there, Birds of Prey, Shazam, Joker, The Batman, all these films have come out and they've all turned a profit. They've all been critically well accepted. And why would you fire a guy when that's his track record thus far?
Right.
So I don't think it was ever realistic that these guys were heading out. But now, of course, the big question is what happens when their contracts come up? Because some people say maybe he's keeping them there until their deals go up later this year and then they're going to get replaced.
Yeah.
I guess
They
we'll
need a
see.
transition, or something like that.
Yeah, but either
Get everything
way,
ready for when you leave,
yeah,
kind of deal.
yeah. But then again, people think like if that were going to happen, they would have just flown the coop like Sarnoff and Killar did. Because who wants to stick
Right.
around when you're like a dead man walking, knowing you're about to get replaced in a few months?
Right.
So I don't. I have a sense that these guys aren't going anywhere. And if you're a fan of DC entertainment and DC on film, you're going to have to get pretty used to seeing them. And it also probably doesn't bode well for that full-on restoration of the Snyderverse that some are hoping for, because Toby Emmerich and Walter Hamada do not seem to be in favor of that sort of thing at all. And the fact that they're still in positions of power means that Discovery seems to be fine with that too. So
That train's left the station.
so there you go. There is your Superman-ish update into the latest DC rumors.